Hello and welcome to Dragonfly here on this Mindful Monday. I am here with Jack, and namaste, Jack.
Namaste.
And so we're gonna talk some mindfulness this morning, right? I hope everyone had a great weekend, and happy Father's Day to anyone who is celebrating Father's Day.
Belated Happy Father's Day.
Right?
Yeah.
We had a nice weekend.
Yeah, it was. It was a good weekend.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's great to have good weather again.
It is, yeah.
Right?
We actually had a fire last night.
You did?
Our first
that's
fire of
nice.
the year.
That's nice. It was nice to cook out, and
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
what we
planted a garden. Duffy built a garden for me,
Oh,
so
nice.
I planted that yesterday. So that was exciting. I've
Nice,
planted a
yeah.
garden for years.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Raised bed or
just a
regular?
little, just
Yeah.
a little bit,
Little
yeah.
bit,
yeah. But we put a little fence for the bunnies because
Yeah.
we have a lot of bunnies, a lot of bunnies.
Yeah, tell me about that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we had the fence ours then too.
But
So,
yeah, I'm loving this weather and feeling like summer's finally close.
It seems like it's finally settling
Finally,
in a little
yeah.
bit. Yeah, that we're not
Yeah.
having the
Right.
frost anymore and stuff. At least we're past that.
Right.
Past that stage. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a late planting, but.
Yeah,
So
we
what
had a good weekend. Sarah asked me this morning, so what are we talking about today? I said, well, mindfulness.
Of course.
My wife asked me the same thing, and she called me a name after I told her that. She didn't
No,
call me.
I mean,
She
that's-
called me honey. Yeah. No, I wanted to touch on changing perspectives, how mindfulness can sometimes change our perspectives. And I got to thinking, when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to be older, so I wanted to be a dad. I wanted to be able to tell people. I wanted to be a dad for the wrong reasons, I think, when I was a kid, because I wanted to be able to tell people what to do. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a policeman. Those things faded very quickly when I got older. It's like, no, I don't want any part of that. I did become a dad, and I think I missed the boat on a few things along the way, but fortunately my kids have all evolved wonderfully. They're all great kids. They're all doing very well. Despite their upbringing, but it just reminded me of how our perspectives can change on things. We look at things one way, and then maybe later in life, or even later that day, we look at things in a different way. And being mindful for me has been a journey of self-discovery, because when you're mindful of what you're doing, when you're mindful of your emotions, you're mindful of your feelings, you're mindful of your actions and reactions to things. When you see that and examine it, you can take a look at it and say, well, maybe there's a better way of doing this. Maybe there's there's a little better way. I found a quick story, and it's just a little story that I found online, and I just want to read it to you because it stated it very beautifully. If I could have written this, I would have written this. But I found this online. James was having one of those days. He woke up late, skipped breakfast, and was rushing to an important meeting. As he stepped into the break room to grab a quick coffee, someone bumped into him, spilling hot drink all over his shirt. Immediately, his body tensed. Anger surged. Really? Can people just watch where they're going? He thought. His inner voice kept spiraling. Today is ruined. It's a mess. Everybody's going to notice. But then something happened. Earlier that week, James had started a daily 5-minute mindfulness practice. Nothing big, just sitting and breathing before work. One thing he had practiced was pausing before reacting. As his hand reached for a napkin and his mind reached for a complaint, a breath came instead. A single breath. Then another. He silently noticed heat, tight jaw, racing thoughts, embarrassment, frustration. And just like that, a little space opened up. In that space, he saw something he had missed. The intern who had bumped into him looked mortified. She was apologizing, her hands trembling as she reached for paper towels. James saw her not as an obstacle, but as a person. He softened. It's okay, he said, offering a calm smile. Honestly, I needed a break anyway. The rest of the day unfolded differently. Not perfect, but lighter, more open. Without his mindfulness, he wouldn't have been able to stop and hit that pause button. And that's what's helping me so often, is being able to hit that pause button and see what really happened here. The intern didn't bump into him on purpose.
Right.
It wasn't a purposeful action. It just happened. It was an accident. Now the thing I question about that story is it said that earlier that week, James had started a daily 5-minute mindfulness. Speaking for me, it doesn't work that quickly. A couple days of mindfulness isn't going to get me into a space where if somebody dumps hot coffee on me, I'm going to be, oh, it's okay. I'm not that quick a learner, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would take me a little bit longer than that. But the point is still there, that the mindfulness, being mindful and having a mindfulness practice, even 5 minutes a day before work, whatever it is, can help you get to those points. I'm not there yet. I'm fond of saying I'm not there yet, and I never will be there. I'll always be here. I'm getting better. One of my biggest triggers is driving. And my wife will attest to this. But I'm getting to the point where I'm backing off just a little bit, and I'm able to see things a little bit differently. The person that pulled out in front of me didn't do it on purpose. They didn't do it just to piss me off. Something happened. And so I'm able to hit that pause button just a little bit and say, okay, maybe they're in a hurry for something. Maybe they got a call from a doctor, and maybe somebody's in trouble and they have to hurry to the hospital or something. I don't know what their situation is. That's not for me to judge. And then I got to thinking, well, isn't that magnanimous of me? I've always looked at the word magnanimous. I don't know why I picked that word, because it's hard to say. I've always looked at the word magnanimous and thought, well, it's kind of a pompous, if you're magnanimous, you're above everybody, and I'm going to be magnanimous and forgive you for pulling out in front of me. And I thought, well, that's not necessarily a good place either. Mm-hmm. So I actually looked up magnanimous, and it's not really a bad thing. It sounds worse than it is. So I asked the question, is being magnanimous, does magnanimity come from ego? I asked myself that, again, being mindful of what I'm thinking and how I'm reacting, I had to ask myself, does magnanimity come from ego? It can. The answer is it can. But the original intent of the word, no. The genuine magnanimity is spacious, humble, and open-hearted. It doesn't seek praise or moral high ground. It's rooted in compassion, empathy, and understanding. It arises naturally when you're not defending your ego or identity. It can come from ego. If I say, I'm going to be magnanimous and forgive that person because I'm the better person, that's out of ego.
Right.
If I just say, hey, it happened, I don't know what that person's thing is, let it go, and it's not for show, or it's not for, if I do it in front of somebody, I'm going to forgive that person because,
right,
because I'm the better person. That's from ego. True magnanimity is from the heart and from the soul. So I'm glad I did that little bit of research. I'm glad I looked that up and did that research, because I feel a little better about myself now. Now I just have to, when I am magnanimous, I have to look at my intent. Mm-hmm. What's my intention for being magnanimous? And I remember as a kid, my mother used to say, well, take the high road, be the better person, take the high road. And that's all well and fine as long as you're taking the high road and not publicizing it or mm-hmm. not using it for your own, you know what I mean? Yeah. Even in your thoughts, even if you don't do it outwardly, if you're doing it, well, I'm on the high road because I'm a better person. That's not true magnanimity.
Right.
It's not being truly, grateful for other things. Some of the ramblings that I go through just on a regular basis, being mindful, and being mindful isn't always, I shouldn't make it sound like I'm always, like jumbled in my head or anything. Well, I am, but other reasons for that. But just noticing what you're doing and how you're doing it and why you're doing it. For me, that's been a big, and I'm still growing into that. I'm still working on being magnanimous for the right reasons.
We've got a question here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Katie Jennings says, what does that have to do with emotions or anxiety?
It can have to do if you have a perceived wrong, if you perceive that somebody has wronged you, or like somebody pulling out in front of me, that's a perceived wrong. They pulled out in front of me. Me, that's ego. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be late. That's ego. I, me, mine. Those are all ego. When somebody does that to you, it can be emotional. Look at James. He felt the physical tight jaw, racing thoughts, frustration. It's a physical as well as a mental thing. So I think that when you perceive that you've been wronged, that can bring up emotions. Sure. And if we look at it in a true sense, being truly mindful, we have to look at what the perceived wrong was. Right. Was it intentional? Was it directed at me personally? And if it was, then how do we deal with that? So I think that's how it all ties into emotions and feelings, I think. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, pop another one in there. And Sarah will read it because I can't read them. But I think I think that all ties together. Yeah. Being mindful of your emotions and your feelings can be for me, that's been huge. And I don't always like it. I don't always like when I feel an emotion and I'm mindful of it and I examine it. It's not always comfortable. But you work through it. You feel it. It's a feeling, so feel it, work through it, get to the other side, and then move on from there. The mindfulness will help you in how you react. Right. It will help you respond rather than react. It'll help you hit that pause button every now and then. And that breath, that single breath that James noticed in the middle of everything, there's a breath. Oh, and there's another one. Okay, this isn't quite so bad as I thought. His day wasn't ruined. And I've been through these. I've been through somebody will do something or something will go wrong. And it's like, a whole day's shot. And it's not. It's really not. Maybe a few minutes of it. But it's really not that bad. Perceptions?
Yeah, no, I agree. Although I see people, like I witness people being reactive all the time. And I'm not a very reactive person. Yeah. I'm like someone who always pauses. Like before I say something, like I think about what I'm going to say before, and I don't, like I really do tune into what I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing and look at the whole picture and see intent. So it takes a lot to get me riled or get me, like not saying, like when I'm driving, I might, see someone and swear at them in my head, but, I'm like, oh, well, like it doesn't, it's gone. It's just done. I'm like, oh, what a jerk. Or you're, learn to drive, something. I'm not calling it out, but it doesn't stick with me. It doesn't give me anxiety.
You don't carry it with
I don't
you
carry
for
it. I'm
the
like,
rest of the day.
The next second, it's out of my mind.
Yeah.
So but, it doesn't mean that I'm not irritated when I see it, but I just don't hold on to the irritation.
Yeah. And that's what it is. That's not to hold on to it, not to, just to let it go for what it really was.
So Katie says, you mean also perfectionism, being perfect all the time, or what people expect from you?
I am not perfect. I don't expect anybody to be perfect. Perfection that's a myth. Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect, and like I say, I don't expect anybody else to be perfect.
But what if someone is in that mindset that they have to achieve perfectionism?
I am a recovering perfectionist.
Okay.
Because I used to be like that. I still have little bits of it, but I'm over most of it. I used to paint a room. I usually do my own painting and stuff. I'd paint the room. You paint the ceiling first, obviously, and then you paint the walls and you cut in along the ceiling and around the edges and stuff. And invariably, I would make a little mistake on the ceiling, and so I'd have to go back and retouch the ceiling, and then I'd have to go back and retouch the wall, and I'd have to. And you know what? Nobody else would notice that.
Right.
Nobody but me noticed that. And I came to that realization. It's like, you know what? One of my favorite things. My wife will tell you this. Looks good from my house. Looks good from it's fine. Nobody's going to notice. So little imperfections.
Did mindfulness help you with that, or do you think you were already working on that?
I was already working on that before I got into the meditation and the mindfulness because I realized that was
happening.
That I can't make things perfect, and I never will. And I think I came to that acceptance quite some time ago.
That's a good point.
but yeah, I am oh, I remember when I was a kid, if I'd be coloring in a coloring book or something, and I'd go outside the line and tear the damn page out and throw it away. Oh, I would not.
Wow.
Oh no, I would tear it out and throw it away,
Ooh.
or just scribble over the whole thing and start a new one. That's from a very young age. I was, and I don't know where I got that from because my parents weren't like forceful in me
It's
being.
probably a past life thing, too.
It might be, yeah, it might be a past life thing.
That's interesting. I
But
would
yeah,
not have known that.
perfectionism to the point of to that point where I would just destroy something if it wasn't perfect.
Wow.
Well, that just it doesn't make any sense now, but it did at the time. So, if you are a perfectionist, I don't know how I got out of that. I honestly don't know. You know, if I could give you some advice on how not to be a perfectionist, I don't know if I could.
I think it's sometimes like a compulsion that people can't manage on their own, right? I think so.
If it's something that you really need help with, see
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned in life is that there's no shame in asking for help.
Right.
I have had to reach out for help so many times in my life, and it's like every time I'm so glad I did.
It's a good thing.
So if it's something that's really concerning to you, reach out for some help. There's even online help now. They have online AI psychological help.
Oh, really?
Is, there are some sites that will do it through AI.
Oh my goodness.
And you can actually
Wow.
So if it's a real issue for you, ask for some help. There's no shame in that. Trust me on that one. Yeah. But just the way different, your different perspectives, just being mindful of how you're thinking and the thoughts that you're thinking and stuff. My perspective has changed. I spent the better part of my adult life in the victim mentality. My perspective was that everything was happening to me. Everything bad happens to me. If it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. That was my motto. That was my perspective on life. That has, I was going to say, done a 360. I love when people do. I did a complete 360. Oh, good, you're going in the same direction. But at some point, I did a 180. And now I realize how blessed I really am. Yeah, my life isn't perfect. Crappy stuff still happens.
Right?
Crappy stuff still happens once in a while. Uncomfortable stuff still happens once in a while. But I am so blessed. I never thought that I would see the day when I would sit here 74 years old saying how blessed I am.
And you are.
I didn't think I was going to live this long for one thing, but
Well, we're happy you did.
I am too. I really am, because I am so blessed. But the change in perspective is, and the mindfulness has really helped me with that. It started before that, but the mindfulness has really cemented, the changes in perspective and looking at things and looking at them in a different way. Maybe, taking something and looking at, oh, that's what that looks like. Okay, well, now it looks like that. Now it looks like something else. Looking at it from different directions and seeing how you can see it.
You do make a good point. I wish I could do that. Find a way not to be perfect all the time or what people expect. Hold on. From me. Yeah, that's a hard one, Katie.
It is a hard one. Yeah. And again, I wish I had some sage advice to give you on how not to be a perfectionist. I think it just comes from an acceptance, and sometimes that takes some time, an acceptance that I'm not going to be perfect. I've come to the point in my life where other people's expectations, somebody says, oh, you didn't live up to my expectations. Well, your expectations were too high. That's not on me. That's on you. What somebody expects from you is on them, not on you. What they think about you is none of your business. Yeah. It's their business. You do what's right for you. I do what's right for me. Some people don't like that. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, it goes to perspectives. Like, I think, even for myself, sometimes I think I have perceived that people expected me to be a certain way or be more perfect or different. And I, in stepping back and looking, that was my perception of what they were thinking, and that wasn't the actual perception, right?
Right. Your perception of what people are thinking isn't
always
always
right.
true.
So
right.
sometimes we need. Someone's at the door.
They must be thinking I'm an idiot. Well, you don't know what they're thinking unless you ask them, unless they communicate that to you. I know that sometimes there are perceived expectations and there are actual expectations. I mean, at work, you go to work, there are expectations that you do a certain amount of things and in a certain way, and that's fine. But living your life, that's on you. That's your perception of yourself. I have a much better perception of myself than I ever have. My perception of myself years ago was I was a loser. I was a victim. I was always going to be a victim. My life was always going to suck.
It's not hard, yeah.
And it didn't. Expectations. Make sure they're your expectations, and make sure they're realistic. And unfortunately, being perfect is not a realistic expectation of anything. So
no,
yeah,
not even close.
Coming to an acceptance that things aren't going to be perfect, learning to let go of, the old. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and not not worrying about what other people think of you. I don't need anybody's validation I do it from myself and what is important to me. And so when you take away that need for other people's approval or validation, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Validation is nice. You do something and somebody gives you
right,
validation.
But you're not dependent.
But you're not dependent on it. That's the key.
It's still good to be validated.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I love validation.
Right.
I love when somebody looks at one of my pieces and says, "Oh, that's beautiful." That's
your life's not depending. It's not like you're not going to do it without it.
Exactly. Right? It's not like if nobody said it was beautiful, I'm not going to ever make another one.
Right.
I'm going to
Yeah.
So I don't rely on the external validation anymore. I know.
Katie says, even when it comes from a parent. Oh.
Yes. Even when it comes from a parent.
Yep.
Yes.
Just because they're parents doesn't mean they know what. That doesn't mean that.
We could
go.
We could go into a whole rabbit hole from here, and I am not a psychologist, and I'm not going to pretend to be one, even on Facebook. Yes, there are issues with relatives, parents, close friends, spouses, partners. Everyone. And yes, and the key is you have to live for yourself. You have to do what you feel is right for you. Somebody's expecting you to do something that doesn't feel right with you and doesn't resonate with you, then don't do it. Yes, when we're young, we need to follow our parents' guidance and instructions and stuff like that. They're trying to help us. There comes a point where we have to be able to decide for ourselves what's right and what's wrong. That's a sticky situation. And again, I wish I had some sage advice for you. But be true to your own heart. Be true to what you feel. Honor thy father and thy mother. Okay, well.
No, but
with some caveats.
No, because just because someone is a parent, it doesn't mean that they're giving you what you need. Or there are ultimately some parents who aren't parents, or toxic. Parents, family members, friends, and so it comes to a point where you have to do what's right for you. It's self-preservation.
Right.
It's not, is this helping me? Is this harming me? If someone is harming you, then no matter who it is, we can put up a boundary. We can, it doesn't mean we have to cut everything off, but we have to, we can establish that. And I've had to do this in my own life with certain people where you have to, this is not a good, healthy relationship. So, we're going to have this boundary. It doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to you, but this isn't allowed anymore. Right. It's hard.
It is. It's a sticky situation, especially with parents, relatives, spouses, somebody that's very close to you. It's a sticky situation. But again, you have to take care of yourself. If my wife all of a sudden says, well, we're going to start going to church every Sunday morning, I would be like, well, okay, you can go to church Sunday morning. That doesn't resonate with me. Sure. So you go ahead. I will give her that space. If that's what she wanted to do, that's fine. But she is not going to expect me to do it. And if she did, we'd have some issues and we'd have to communicate. That's the other thing is communication. If you're having trouble with, God, this is so important. And I've just learned this in the past decade or so. Communicating is so critical.
It's essential.
When you do this, I feel this way, or I feel this way when
But also, like, that is your responsibility, like, to try that. Some people might not communicate back, and that is where, you know, at least you've done what you need for you.
You've done your part to open the door and say,
Yes.
you know, we need to change some things. We need to address
But
some
you
things.
and you have the right to that.
Right, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
We have the right to
Everybody
say
has
what
that
we
right
need.
to,
Yeah.
you know, to express their feelings and communicate with other
Yeah.
people.
And the more you do, it may be, you know, awkward at first, but the easier it gets, and I think people do end up responding. They respect that, right?
Oh, absolutely. My wife always, it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you told me that. I'm so glad you talked to me about that,
right.
because it's, you know, now it's out in the open and we can deal with it instead of, you know, she thinks this way or he thinks that way or he's thinking this or she's thinking that. No, we know we know what we're thinking. We know what each other is thinking. We know what each other's agenda is. We know what, you know.
Yeah.
The communication is so very important.
It is.
And again, if you feel that it's a real issue for you, reach out for some help, because there is help available for that too. So,
Katie says, "My apologies. I didn't mean or sound or pull a psychology advice. No,
I
we
wasn't. No,
we weren't
I
thinking
wasn't.
that. We just
Right.
have to put that generally out there for anyone.
I just wanted to say that because,
Yeah. Right.
No, I knew you weren't asking me for psychological advice.
No.
And like I say, I wish I had some sage advice to give you.
I think you do have sage advice. I think all of this
You know,
is
acceptance is one of
yes.
the.
That's all. You know, it's very sage advice. I think.
Stuff that I've learned, that I've, you know, I'm not there yet.
It's okay. What is there? Where is there? All we have is right now. Right
Yeah,
here, right now.
I caught myself a few lives ago, and I noticed that I was saying I'm not there yet, and it occurred to me, because I'm mindful of what I'm saying. Well, of course I'm not going to be there. I can never be there. I can only be here. This is the only moment that I have.
That's right.
I used to say it sarcastically to people. How you doing? Oh, there's no place I'd rather be than right here, right now. And it turned out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, because there is no place I'd rather be than right here, right now. There's no place I can be other than right here, right now, except in my head.
That's a good point.
So I'm here. I'm here. Do we have time for a quick meditation? Or
Sure.
I found a meditation, breathing space for the heart, a mindfulness practice on ego and generosity, and I thought this kind of fit into the magnanimity thing. So I would invite you to settle in comfortably, and if you'd like to close your eyes, or just set a soft gaze on nothing in particular. And again, if you're driving, do not do this. Do it later when you watch it. Take a nice, slow, deep breath in, and then just let that escape. And then just feel your breath anchor you into this moment. Just watch your breath for a moment. Don't change it. Don't force it. Just let it be natural. Just watch it rise and fall. Just notice. Inhale and exhale. Thoughts may come. That's okay. Gently return your attention to your breath. Now ask yourself something. Bring to mind a recent moment when you were kind, forgiving, or understanding towards someone. And ask yourself gently, what motivated that act? Was I trying to appear generous, or did it arise naturally? Was I trying to be right, or was I offering peace? Notice the sensations that come with each reflection. Don't judge, just see. Awareness itself is enough. Now, silently say to yourself, may I act from the heart, not the ego. May my generosity be rooted in truth, not image. May I remember that we all want to be seen, safe, and loved. Repeat that one more time. May I remember that we all want to be seen, safe, and loved. Let these words settle into your breath and body. Feel into what true kindness feels like. Not dramatic, just real. And then return your attention to your breath. Turn your attention to your physical body. Feel your feet, your hands, your presence here. And when you're ready, open your eyes, come back, bring your attention back to the room you're in, the space you're in. And then one nice, long, slow breath in to set these intentions, and then let that escape gently. Being mindful during the day, it takes some practice. I'm still working on it. I am not mindful 24 hours a day. I don't know that anybody is. Some of the masters, maybe Thich Nhat Hanh, who's no longer with us, Eckhart Tolle, some of these people may be mindful a lot more than I am. Not to say they're not going to experience anger. It's not to say they're not going to experience sorrow. Some of the emotions, they're still going to experience the emotions. We always will. It's what makes us human. Set some reminders during the day. Just some tips on how to be mindful during the day, more often during the day. Brushing your teeth. How often do we notice brushing our teeth? You do it every day. Most of us do it every day. Notice it. Next time you brush your teeth, notice it. Notice all the mechanics that it takes to brush your teeth. Be completely mindful. Be completely in that. Don't brush your teeth thinking about how you're going to get to work or what you're having for dinner. Be in that moment, brushing your teeth. If you need to, put some sticky notes up. Put a sticky note up. If you're working, put a sticky note up on your computer. Be mindful today. Just something simple, something that's going to remind you. Put a thing on your phone. I used to have, I won't mention the name, but it was an activity app. And you were supposed to walk, 50 steps every hour or something. And if you didn't, it would remind you. And it would go ding. And hey, it's time to take a few steps. Set something on your watch to be mindful. Remind yourself until it becomes more natural. On your calendar, on your phone. One breath before starting a new task, before you start something. Just stop and take that one breath. As you walk through a doorway, stop and take a breath. It's just a trigger. We used to, when I worked in the weight loss industry, we used to have people get in touch with anchors to remind them why they're doing what they're doing. Remember why you want to be mindful. Remember, I want to be less judgmental. I want to be able to hit the pause button, whatever it is. Set some reminders around. Set some visual reminders if you need them to be mindful. It doesn't take long. You don't have to. James started with 5 minutes a day of mindfulness, and it was just breathing. It was just sitting for 5 minutes before work and breathing. That's all it takes. It doesn't take that much. My tagline is, it only takes a moment to be mindful. Take a moment. Just take a moment. That's all it takes. Be in this moment, just for this moment. And then go on with your day. You can still be mindful as you do things. You don't have to sit to be mindful. Brushing your teeth, driving a car, you be mindful. What am I feeling right now? What am I experiencing right now? How am I reacting to things? How am I responding to things? Question yourself. Question your motives. Question your... It's not a constant battle. Trust me, I make it sound like that sometimes, like I'm always thinking about this stuff. It's in there, but it's not, overwhelming or anything. It's just to be mindful. My life is so much better. Just for being able to hit the pause button, seeing what I'm doing and how my actions and reactions play with everything else. It's just it's an amazing journey. If you do have any questions and I didn't get to them, put them in the comments, please. I think that's about all I have for today.
All right. So I know we have a few announcements.
Yeah, you got some stuff coming up,
Yeah,
right?
well, Jack's got some stuff coming up. He's going to be at Lilydale on July 2nd at 2 p.m. So we are going to be joining him, going down to watch his and take part in his workshop.
I'm doing a 3-hour workshop on meditation.
So we invite all of you to come and join us. Come spend the day in Lilydale with us. It's going to be epic.
Oh, it's going to be epic.
It's going to be epic.
Just going to be epic.
I know it is. So we're excited about that. So you can buy tickets ahead if you want, or you can. I know that they take walk-ins that day as well.
Yeah, she said that they take walk-ins.
Yeah, and you can. It's a big space. They can
there's
accommodate a
plenty
lot of people.
Yeah, love to see y'all there.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that.
Kind of a deep dive into distractions and myths about meditation, some practical practices.
Right, some breathing
techniques and stuff like that we're going to go through. Yeah, it should be a fun day.
It's going to be really fun. We're excited.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
you're going to do great.
Yeah.
You're going to do great. Yeah,
and you got stuff coming up here too, right?
We have so much coming up here. I say check out Facebook, and our website has all the coming events. I know there's just too much to even. I know this week, Wednesday night, we have Tim Shaw here, and he is going to be teaching a class on gallery reading. It's so exciting. Remember when I started out, how terrified I was? And I would literally just stand up there and shake. And Tim had to hold on to me. And he's like, come on, you can do this, right?
Yeah.
And now I can actually, I still get very nervous, but not to the point where it's paralyzing.
Not paralyzing, right.
And that is all thanks to Tim, guiding, coaching. So if you have any inkling that you want to do message passing, or, it just helps with just being up in front of people.
Yeah.
Tim is such an excellent teacher. I can't say enough.
Tim's an awesome mentor.
Yeah, he really is. So that is Wednesday night. We still have space for that. And Judy Hartke is doing past life readings on Thursday. And Saturday, Wendell Rivera is here for a drum circle. And that is instructional drumming. He brings the drum, so you don't even need to have one. And he will teach you how to do that. And Wendell is world famous.
I'm going to try to make.
Yes,
yeah, we're going to try to make.
He is amazing. He has played all over. He is, a huge part of the Buffalo jazz scene.
He's a recording artist.
He's amazing. So we're so excited to have him.
And an all-around nice guy.
He's an amazing guy.
Yeah,
he's like you, Jack.
Sweetheart,
yeah.
I don't know about that. I think he's a little nicer than me.
No. So lots coming up beyond that. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you all for watching today. I hope you have a wonderful Monday.
Marvelous Monday.
Marvelous
Monday.
Magnanimous Monday.
Magnanimous Monday.
I love that word.
And I'm glad I did that research because I always, magnanimous. It's like, I'm magnanimous. I'm better than you. And it's not. It doesn't have to be that way. So I have a much better understanding
of that.
Being of magnanimity now.
That's good. That's good.
So thank you. Thank you for allowing us to share with you, for sharing with us. Like I say, if you do have any questions, pop them in there and I'll answer them later.
Also, if you wanted to book like a private session with Jack, he is available for one-on-ones just to teach you how to.
I will sit one-on-one, or I sat with a couple a little while ago, and gave them both instruction on how to meditate, the mechanics of it, the benefits of it, some of the how to deal with distractions and stuff like that. So
right, because some people say they can't meditate. That's not true. You just haven't been like shown the way.
And that's one of the things, because I talk to people and I tell them, I'm a meditation instructor. Oh, I can't meditate. My mind's too busy. I can't clear my mind. Well, that's not the point. That's not. I wish I had a nickel for every time somebody said that to me, because it's not. You're not supposed to clear your mind. So don't say you can't meditate.
Yeah, it's a good practice.
You can.
Learn.
Anybody can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the benefits are
they're awesome.
Yeah. Again, thanks for being with us.
Have a great day.
Namaste.
Namaste.